Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Henry Kramer, 605 Chaser. Welcome to the show. Look at what we got here. We got some slight risk for severe weather. We're going to break down with the topic, kind of talking about the weather pattern that's going to change. We'll get to that, but we want to get to the severe weather that is expected for areas of western South Dakota. And if you look over here, we even have areas of Baltimore, Washington, D.C. Delaware could possibly see a tornado today, even though we don't have a SPC graphic that supports that there's a risk for tornadoes. I was looking at some of the models this morning, and they certainly do suggest, and let me go ahead and show you that right here. You could certainly see right around 6, 7 p.m., 23Z, we have Cape, or not Cape. Ugh, it's been a rough morning already. We got 30 knots of bulk shear here. And I think it's going to actually end up showing something a little bit sooner than that. So this is a look at 1 p.m. We go to 2, this is 3 p.m. actually, 20Z. And if I click on here, this is Delaware. I'll go to, this is what it comes back. Marginal tornado. Again, SPC or supercell composite numbers 8.9, STP 1.9. STP fix 1.3. So nothing real huge, but the curvature is even only 44. So somewhere in that vicinity, there could be a brief spin up. Just be aware of that. Let's go back to Radar Omega and take a look at what we got going as far as how this is possibly going to play out in areas of the Rockies. Going to be a little rocky today. We'll take a look at the HER model, and then we'll get to the planes and this crazy stuff that is expected here for next week. I kind of put that in there because of the fact that I live in the plains and definitely want to make sure that you guys are aware of what could have a pattern change going on. But as you can see, not a whole lot going on today in central part of South Dakota. Big news is over here. Again, this is a look at 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time, so that'd be 5 p.m. over here. Wilmington, Philadelphia, back to Hagerstown. Lots of wind and hail, and then an isolated tornado threat over here is what we're expecting to see. Again, this is going to be later this afternoon into the evening if things can all ramp up. The main thing that they're going to have to deal with this morning is a little bit of this cloud cover already moving in. But as you can see right here, it's really pretty clear. So as long as this cloud cover doesn't hinder some of that later today. We also do have an isolated area for some marginal risk of severe weather in the Little Rock area. Not a whole lot expected there. There could be a brief risk of wind. Let's go ahead and pull that up here. Get back to the HRRR here, 11Z. I hope you're all doing great this morning. Make sure you subscribe. Here we go. So this is around 5 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Shreveport, Little Rock, you could have some hailers in here. Not anything real huge and real significant, but there could also be that wind threat into the nighttime. As you get around 9 or 10 p.m., kind of dies out, so then you'll be good. Areas over here into the Rockies, you got Wyoming. Let's take a look at that. I suspect Buffalo's going to have a little hailer right here, just to the north of Clermont. But again, this is not going to be ramping up until super late, 5 p.m. Start over in Fort Collins area, Denver area, and then kind of make its way northward, northeastward rather, into Rapid City area. By the time it gets to Rapid City, I think that it's going to end up pretty much being died out. That's my thought. Could have some overnight showers if the temperatures drop enough and the dew points rise enough. We'll have to see how all that plays out. But the big news that I wanted to kind of get to is the crazy stuff that is expected to happen. So in the plains, let me go ahead and shut off these graphics and show that information Let's see here where we got that, and we'll get this pack over here. We got to go to a GFS. I'm not a fan of GFS, but the only thing we can do is just go based off of the one model that is out far enough. So let's go ahead and kind of show you what I'm expecting to have happen here. So you'll be able to see we're looking at the bulk shear here, but we're going to kind of, this will help us see some of that shear pattern a little bit. As you get into the 4th, 5th, and 6th, you'll start to see a little bit more of this shortwave trough that goes in here Tuesday. Let's go ahead and show it a little bit better here. Energy helicity. 1 second. There we go. There it is. There's the 6th. Whoops. So the GFS puts this at around 1 o'clock in the morning on the 6th. So here's the kicker. We don't know exactly if this is going to play out how we're suspecting, but this is a look at 7 p.m. Still plenty of energy. This is a look at 4 p.m. Plenty of energy to work with. Let's take a look at the surface-based CAPE of how that's possibly going to play out. Again, there's plenty more to go through on this. Might be able to do this a little bit better on Radar Omega. So I'm just going to switch over to that. Let's show that a little bit different here. $500 millibar wind. That's going to be able to help us see that pattern shift a little bit better here. So 1 second. All right, here it comes, the 4th, 5th. You can see this is putting a little bit of a disturbance, maybe more towards the central plains, maybe even down to Topeka on the 5th. But look at that right here. A little bit of a disturbance expected on the 6th, early in the morning up in northern plains. And then it could go over into areas of Minnesota. But the big kicker here is on the 6th. Couple of different waves. And why is all this happening? Let's show you the reason it's all happening. You kind of saw it on the graphic before you came on here. This is the reason for it. So as we look into the dew points, we can certainly see drier, cooler air coming from the west here. As we get into the 5th and the 6th, you'll be able to see it here. Right here, 4 o'clock in the morning, lots of dry air over Cheyenne, Denver, Colorado areas, and then all this big bulk of moisture right here in Des Moines area, Minneapolis, Laverne, Minnesota, Sioux Falls, lots of moist, muggy air. You guys felt it last weekend in our areas, definitely where it was mid 70s for dew points, and then we're going to have this drier, cooler air coming over the around the 6th, and as that makes its way eastward, that's where we're expecting some clashing to happen. So it's possible that we could have another chase in the mix here next week. We'll have to see how this plays out. Again, this is just one weather model, and it's the only weather model that we can utilize right now because the other ones are medium and short range models, and this is a long range. So we'll have to see how it all plays out. Let's go ahead and take a look at the other risks that we have here for today. That's all I'm really going to spend on that risk, but the big time thing that I'm thinking for the 5th and the 6th time frame, we could have Central Plains insanity going on with some tornadoes, hail, wind threat. Don't suspect a derecho, but again, that tornado and hail threat is going to be a possibility for next week, middle of next week, somewhere in the plains. whether it be northern plains or it ends up being the central. Not sure yet. Just depends on where it all plays out. Let's go ahead and take a look at the risks. A little bit further here. There we go. We'll kind of play out throughout the U.S. the timing of these storms. Show you that a little bit further here. Oops, that's GFS. Let me get to a better model here for short range. All right, looking at the composite reflective, you can certainly see where we suspect the storms to begin over here in the afternoon hours over in Baltimore, Washington area. Again, right here, Little Rock, Texarkana. And then finally, late in the evening hours, things ramp up, but it doesn't show really as much of the intensity. It's more of a wind threat over in areas of Wyoming. Let me go ahead and show you that wind threat specifically here. There it is, a big old wind bag event. Not huge wind event, but nonetheless wind. There is that threat for some wind over here as well in Baltimore, Washington. But again, I do believe that they're going to put at least a 2% risk over in areas of Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area for tornadoes today. So if you got anybody that lives in those areas, and again, the wind threat pretty much nil in areas of Little Rock, Shreveport, Louisiana. Not going to lie, that's not on my radar a whole lot. More of these concerns here. And then Rapid City, South Dakota, North Platte areas, west of North Platte rather, really is going to die out by the time it gets to those areas. What is the temperatures expected to do? We'll take a look at that real quick here with our pivotal weather information here. We'll kind of show you. Here, let's take a look at Pierce, South Dakota. So we're expecting today high of 79, close to 80, 76 for tomorrow, a little bit cooler. We do bring in some precip chances for tomorrow for Pierce, South Dakota. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about, you can see it right there, 92, 103 by the time we get to the 8th and the 9th. We could actually see those temperatures increase a little bit as we get into Thursday and Friday. So we'll have to see how all this plays out. The other news is wind gusts could be pretty prevalent as you get into tomorrow with the Pierre area. So just continue to stay weather aware. That's the best that I could give you at this point, and we appreciate all of you joining our community. Live look at the radar right now, what is happening here. We do see areas eastward of Indianapolis, over by Hamilton, Cincinnati, Ohio area. These special weather statements, these are going to continue to move off to the east. There it is. And as these make their way to the east, eventually this is going to build a big old line of storms and push through that Baltimore, Washington, D.C. areas. Otherwise, we don't really have a whole lot going on. Few little blips over here in Rapid City, not really making it to the surface too much. Temperature wise, though, right now, currently in Mitchell, South Dakota, 62, 59 degree dew point. That is certainly way cooler than what we have seen, and we'll continue to see that in those areas as well. So that is all the latest information that we have. God bless. Stay safe, everybody. I am going to be back tomorrow with more severe weather risk throughout the U.S. A little bit of a short live today, not going to lie. A little exhausted from all of earlier this week's chase and crazy family stuff going on.